Now, early voting begins today in Georgia, and we are watching a tight race that could determine the balance of power in Washington. Polls have consistently shown Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock with a slight lead over his Republican challenger, Herschel Walker. The latest survey has the incumbent, Warnock, with a 3-point lead. That is just within the margin of error. The nominees went head-to-head on Friday night, and Walker's strategy was clear: tie the Democrat to President Joe Biden.
This race ain't about me. It's about what Raphael Warnock and Joe Biden had done to you and your family. He and Joe Biden, they don't show any strength, and we have to protect this country. Can you tell me why he voted with Joe Biden 96% of the time if he was standing for Georgia? That tells you that he's for Joe Biden, I'm for Georgia.
It is very clear that my opponent would rather be running against anybody except me. But either me, there are only two people who are going to sit in this seat, either me or my opponent. And I think this race is about who's ready to represent the people of Georgia.
The candidates also clashed over the issue of abortion, as Walker, who claims he is anti-abortion, again denied allegations that he paid for the procedure for an ex-girlfriend and urged her to get a second one.
I said that's a lie. And on abortion, I'm a Christian. I believe in life. And I tell people this: Georgia is a state that respects life, and I'll be a senator that protects life. And I said that was a lie, and I'm not backing down.
I think that the women of this country and the women of this state woke up one summer morning, and a core protection that they've known for 50 years was taken from them by an extremist Supreme Court. And I stand where I've said I stand in the past, that a patient's room is too narrow and small and cramped a space for a woman, her doctor, and the United States government. We are witnessing right now what happens when politicians, most of them men, pile into patients' rooms. You get what you're seeing right now. And the women of Georgia deserves a senator who will stand with them. I trust women more than I trust politicians.
There was also an odd moment when Walker tried to defend himself after being accused of misrepresenting himself as a member of law enforcement. Take a look.
One thing I have not done, I've never pretended to be a police officer, and I've never threatened a shootout with the police.
Well, and now I have to respond to that.
We are moving on, gentlemen.
I have to respond to that. And you know what's so funny? I am with many police officers, and at the same time,
Mr. Walker, excuse me, Mr. Walker, please, out of respect, I need to let you know, Mr. Walker, you are very well aware of the rules tonight.
Yes.
And you have a prop. Yes. That is not allowed, sir. Yes. I ask you to put that prop away.
Well, it's not a prop. This is real. And he said, I have a problem. I never worked with law enforcement. It is considered a prop, Mr. Walker. Yes. Excuse me, sir. Yes.
You're very well aware of the rules, aren't you?
Well,
aren't you aware of the rules?
He brought up the truth. Let's talk about the truth.
Thank you for putting that prop away.
This is from my hometown. This is from Johnson County, from the sheriff from Johnson County, which is a legit badge. Everyone can make fun, but this badge give me the right. Let me finish. If anything happened in this county, I have the right to work with the police and getting things done.
Does that have arresting authority, or it's an honorary badge? It
is an honorary badge, but they can call me whenever they want me, and I have the authority to do things for them, to work with them on things.
He can work with the community. It's an honorary badge. The National Sheriff's Association said the badge is like a trophy. It's for a trophy case, not to flash in public. There's another Georgia debate last night, but Herschel Walker wasn't there, calling it a one-sided sham. Let's take a look. Oh, you don't have any sound?
That's it.
Oh, we played some of that before. Let's bring in right now political reporter from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, Greg Bluestein. Greg, a couple of observations that I had when I saw the first debate, and I heard from a lot of other observers. Warnock in his first debate with Walker seemed almost detached, almost robotic. He certainly did not sound like a preacher of the Ebenezer Baptist Church. And he didn't seem to really find his footing until Walker wasn't there last night. On the other side of it, Walker's handlers were thrilled, said it's the best debate that Walker could have ever had. I guess that is damning with faint praise. But what were you hearing similar reports on the ground?
I was. Even Democrats were saying they were surprised that Herschel Walker held his own, that he handled himself. He didn't, collapse on the debate stage in a sense. But look, that debate on Friday night could have easily focused almost entirely on Herschel Walker's personal baggage, and it didn't. There was only a few questions about abortion, about his past history of violent behavior and erratic behavior and lies and falsehoods, conspiracy theories. And instead, it was mostly focused on other issues. And in that sense, it played against Senator Warnock because it didn't focus on so many of the issues that have been dominating the local and national coverage of this campaign. Right. And look, Herschel Walker had to basically show his campaign wasn't on the verge of collapse, and also give reason for some of these waving Republicans to back him. And his allies, along with many Democrats, feel like, he did that.
So, Greg, why any news from the Warnock camp on why the senator waited for Herschel Walker to be absent from the debate stage before he started hammering him on these issues that I think most expected him to go after him on Friday night?
He is a skilled orator. He, is the pastor of Ebenezer Baptist Church, but he's also only participated in a few debates in his political debates, I should say, in his experience. He's not a veteran politician. So some of his supporters said, look, the debate stage doesn't necessarily suit him either. He was much sharper last night in front of an empty lectern. It was a very different scenario for him, but he had some of the sharpest attacks I've ever heard on Herschel Walker last night.
Well, Greg, you wrote about the debate. While Friday's debate performance didn't erase Walker's vulnerabilities, it may quiet some GOP fears that the party's most reliable voters were on the verge of abandoning him. Walker came out punchy and aggressive, interjecting frequently as he tried to knock Warnock off message. Warnock was more cautious and deliberate, though he also gave Democrats reason to cheer. And I do agree with that. I mean, I don't think... I guess, if you want to brawl.
No, I don't want to brawl.
But I mean...
If you're going to say something about somebody on Sunday night, if you're going to get aggressive and go after him on Sunday night, Jonathan O'Meara, the question is, why are you muted and reserved when they're actually right there in front of you on Friday night? It was a really, I must say, it was a... I'll just put it this way. It's a surprising performance, a very muted performance by Warnock on Friday night. And Saturday night, him coming out swinging is kind of like the Atlanta Braves coming out swinging in batting practice on Sunday night. Too late.
I think that reference is too soon for our Braves fan currently talking to us there, Joe. But you're right. I heard from some Democrats Friday night and again over the weekend who were a little disappointed with what happened on Friday. Now, to be clear, they felt Warnock was all right, but they were surprised that Walker did okay. Now, again, let's be clear. We're talking expectations game here. Like, if he hadn't tripped over himself on his way to the podium, that would be an upgrade as to what people thought he would do Friday night. But he did okay. Warnock was better on him on most issues, but didn't deliver sort of the knockout blow that a lot of Dems were helping would happen. Greg, let me ask you, it was also surprising to Democrats and, frankly, some Republicans I heard from as well, how little time during that debate on Friday was actually spent about the abortion issue and the claims that Walker paid for this abortion from a former girlfriend, and she says wanted her to get a second. It came up a little bit. He denied it again, but there wasn't a lot of follow-up. There didn't seem like it was a moment that Warnock really seized upon. Do we think that's going to remain his strategy at this point, to sort of leave that alone? If so, what will Warnock's closing argument be?
Yeah, it was about a minute of the hour-long debate, really. It was a brief exchange in the debate. This has been Senator Warnock's strategy, though. He hasn't played into it. He's called it a pattern of disturbing behavior. for Herschel Walker, but he hasn't leaned into it. He doesn't want to, further unite Republicans against him, I think is the strategy there. But instead, he has leaned very hard into the other issues that have plagued Herschel Walker's campaign, including violence against women, including his ex-wife, Cindy Grossman. That's been a factor throughout this entire campaign. That's something that his campaign ads have inundated the Atlanta airwaves with footage of Cindy Grossman talking about that past abuse.